Hey guys, they're gonna be adding a new script, a world server command script. To do that, we will start by obviously adding a new custom script. Then we're gonna compile, we're gonna make sure it works in the game, and then I will show you how to customize it. It will involve core development. I mean, this is within the core itself, it's not all about smart AI. It has very little to do with the database. And it should be good to go based on your own specifications. So to get started, let's start with adding the custom script. To src server scripts custom, and obviously we're gonna add here a new CPP script. It's gonna be world chat.cpp. Yes, I'm 100% sure I want to change. Alright, so let's start with the end. It's kind of funny, but yeah, let's start with the end. Void custom. Oh no. Void add. Let's see. And this is what we will need to copy. Gonna need to do this. No, I'm gonna need this custom script loader, and obviously gonna need to declare this one over here. Void this. This gonna need to put over here. All right. Gonna need to save it, then compile via CMake. So let's do that. This, and this is gonna be new boot. You can call it boot, you can call it basically whatever. Alright, 64-bit, finish. What I'm doing right now is I'm generating a new solution out of the modified core that we have just here. And when I open the new SLN from the new boot, it will display, it should display the script, the new script that we have here. Now that is done, we can open this and we can go in here. It should display here, and if it doesn't, I'm pretty sure we need to compile it first and then it will display. But either way, it should be displayed in there eventually. Let's go in here, scripts, custom, and there you go, world chat. Alright, that means that whenever we compile it, it will actually compile with this custom scripts in. Now that's important because, as you probably noticed, we have nothing in this script. We have only this. This is because when we actually call the script itself, where is the older one? No. When we add a new script, we're going to need to make sure that it's being listed here and that it's being called here whenever custom script is being called. Now, if we have the void name, the register here, whatever is in this, as in what is new within here, and then the subclasses, the classes of the previous scripts, it will work. So we can add whatever we want in here and it will work. Let me show you an example that I have. This here, whatever is being called here, it's a single script, a single custom script that is being called, that is calling 3 custom scripts. All right, so we can go to each one of them. We can go in here, we can pick definition, and we can see that the code itself is pretty clear. It's a gossip system, it has a few custom commands, has a custom class, has basically whatever, but the bottom line is it's a new class of a new script that is being called through a single caller. All right, so I'm gonna go to the new server, new solution. I'm gonna build it. I'm gonna pause it, and we're gonna be back real soon. Alright guys, welcome back. It's done. You can see I copied a specific section of the previous script. The reason I did that is because I needed to construct a command template, a in-game command template, and to do that I had to make sure that the syntax is identical to what we need. So what we actually need is very simple. I'm gonna need to copy this in here instead of this, and to delete this paragraph. Now this command table should be good to go. If we ever want to add a new command, this should be the way. We're gonna need to add a comma and the next line. You can clearly see that we have a few issues here. First of all, this is template NPC manager. We do not need any of that. None of that is important to us, and the name of this is not something that we need. But set that aside for a second. We can see that there are a few issues with this. It has this red underline. What it means is that this will not compile well. Even if I was to compile it at this time, it will not let me. The reason is, whenever we use something that requires a header file, and it's not being included at the top here, it will not work. If we go to the previous script, we can see previous script. We can see that it has a few include lines wherever they are. I think at the very top. Yeah, there they go. If I was to remove any of them, it will not really work. It will just fail, and it will give me this underline. So what we actually need is include, and then our back, for example, and we should be able to see that it detects this. And if I was to include chat.h, if I was to include chat handler, chat handler is chat.h. No, what now? Here, sorry, I had to add brackets here. And let's add a comma. Let's add this one here as a comment. And this one as a comment as well. This is only to make sure that the next time we want to add a command into this, it will actually let us know that this is the syntax that we need. Alright, so this is done. What we need to do now is we need to make sure that this is not a reload command, this is a chat command. Actually, let's ignore this one. And let's fix this one. Instead of handle reload, handle world chat. Chat world. Let's do W and C. Let's add a comma here. Let's remove a comma from there. And I think we're good to go. Now, what we need to do is to make sure that this is a script that is actually being compiled. To do that, this is a class. We're going to need to go into the void, the latest void, new class, brackets, semicolon, and now when we compile it, this one will actually work. Now, all of these commands, these ones here, chat, worlds, W, and C, should print the same thing. The same thing that it will print for now. I'm gonna make sure that only the user is getting a message. The message I want them to get, the users, will be world chat command works. Alright, now it's that simple, very not really complicated. I'm gonna need to build it, and then I'm gonna need to boot the server. Let's just wait for it to be done. In the meanwhile, what we need to do, we need to go, now we will have a slight issue here. We will need to go to bin, release with debug information, and execute these two. Problem is, it does not have the configs, and it does not have DBC and maps, all that crap. What we need to do, need to go here into this here. No, to this one here. I need to go in there and there. And I need to copy all of these configs. I want the restarter as well. And I want libmysql because this one is always missing. And the rest should be good to go. Now I'm gonna cut this and I'm gonna copy it here. And then I should be able to run this successfully. Yep. And I should be able to run this successfully as well. No. Let's see what the issues are. Now give me just 1 sec. Alright, back. Had an issue where I tried to update the server, but it didn't really let me. Add a few other issues. I figure we can just stick into this revision because it doesn't mean much. Just had to disable the updates, update database, because it tried to update the database whenever I executed the server. Not a thing we need. Alright, that is done. Let's make sure that I can log into the game. When I log into the game, obviously I will need to execute this command somehow. Thing is, even if I was to execute any of these 4 commands, it will not really let me because the game does not know that I have these commands accessible. What do I need to do? It's very simple. Gonna need to go into the command section here. Gonna need to scroll all the way down. And I'm gonna need to add chat syntax will be the chat text. I have world syntax world text. I have W syntax W chat, and I have syntax .c in chat. Now these commands are all good to go. Just need to make sure that my current rank, which is rank 3, has access to it. That can be done if we go into the RBAC permissions here. Scroll all the way down, and we're going to need to add, let's start with 1000 for custom commands, for example. Command world. Now 1000 till 1000 and basically whatever. Bu- 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 bu. Might not be needed. Let's give it a shot like that. Reload. Go back, reload. Command. Alright. Yeah, I have W, I have world. Do I have C in chat? And I should have, yeah. Yeah, I have C. And do I have chat? Yeah, I do. Alright, so let's try to execute CD chat. Well, chat command works. Alright, so yeah, it works. Now, let's make it actually be a chat that whenever I type something after the C or after the W or whatever, the text that I'm adding will be printed and it will be used in any way, because right now it doesn't do that. So let's go back to that. Alright, now within the code itself, we can clearly see that this is all it does. I mean, we've seen that before. What we need to do now is to make sure that the arguments here are being used. That means we need to uncomment this one, since we are going to use it, and args is a char. That means that this is a plain text. So we can actually use this one as plain text. For example, if I was to type args here, that it will print args. No, actually, will it let me? No. Alright, args here. It will print exactly what I'm saying. Just let's add some protection to that. No, actually not yet. Alright, gonna need to save it, gonna need to compile it, gonna restart real quick. Now, as a developer, you need to get used to that ecosystem where you save something, you compile it, and then you reopen the server. There is an option to skip that. It's called hot swapping. It's a very useful tool, but I don't recommend it because whenever you save a script, it will relaunch, it will update the entire server, and it can cause a few crashes. So in a production server, I recommend not to do that. In a local test server like this one, sure, it's gonna be an extremely useful tool. It's not gonna be useful if you're counting on RAM usage, where you load things into the server itself, and then you hope to use it later on as saved storage. For example, if a player is playing for 10 minutes straight, it's gonna save into the RAM and not anywhere else, and the server is being reset after you save it because it resets the entire RAM usage. It's gonna be a bit of a problem, so you will need to restart it instead. So let's go back into the game. Alright, let's go. If I do just this, it doesn't print anything. So if I was to type, I am a developer, it says I'm a developer. That is awesome. Now, can someone else actually see this? No. reason is, whenever someone sees this message, it has to be a GM. As we can see from the command itself, send global GM system message. We can right click and we can do peak definition to see how it actually works. And we can see that whenever someone is a GM, only then it will print the message and it will send the global GM message. We can see how it's being constructed over here, and then we can see what data it actually sends, and we can see how it sends this data. So let's go peak definition into this one, and we can see that if the player is, well, if it's not in the world, yeah, if the player has permission, if the player does not have permission to view global GM text message, it will not work. So you don't need to be a GM, you need to have the proper permission, which applies to GMs only. Now that is over here. These are the GM commands. Actually, let's find it real quick. GM, where is it? Yeah, receive global GM messages or text. This is the permission number 44. Let's see if this is the actual permission. Yeah, we can see here this one, 44, is the one that we're actually looking at. So we have that. We do not want only GMs to be able to see this message, or only GMs to be able to use this command. We want everyone to be able to use it. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to go into the handler itself, which links into chat. This is how we actually send messages, through the handler, through the chat handler here. And if we do this arrow symbol, it will print every single command that we can use through this specific handler. So what I'm using the most is psenses message, which is just this one. We will use the second method. I can use the arrow key up and down. This is the first method. This is the second method. The first method, it selects a variable from the database for a specific structure, syntax, and it will link the syntax ID and then the arguments. For example, if I have a variable that says player account ID this, and then player guide ID this, it will need the variables, and then it will need the arguments for the variables, the account ID, and then the guide ID. That's not that complicated, but I just prefer to stick into the point. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna make sure that the message that we're sending is identical to what we're typing, and then to make sure that everyone else can actually see the message. So what we can use is we can use psenses message, or we can use something a bit more general, which will basically send a message to everyone. Handler send server message, send global sys message. No, it was. I think it was this one. Yeah, anyways. We will stick to the second method. We will just need to make sure that every single player gets this message. Alright, to do that, we're gonna need to do this. This is the message that we want, and this is a variable for string, which is what we want.